Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's been a long time, but I'm happy to be back. So today I'm here back with a flip through of the months of June as well as July of my Hobonichi Cousin 2022. And yes, it's the first time that I'm shooting 2 months in a flip through, and the reason is simple. I have not used my planner very well in these past 2 months. But there are certain spreads that I've used regularly and some that I've ignored for the large part, and I thought I would let you know about how it went for me in the past 2 months, especially as these are the days when we think about next year's planning system. And I hope you enjoy it, and I would love to hear from you as well of how it went for you for the past few months in terms of planning. So let me begin now. Now, as usual, I use pretty much all of my spreads in the Hobonichi Cousin. I start with this one, which is like a calendar that you have. What I do over here is pretty simple. I use it to track my income, and this I have been regular with. So there are some months where I do not receive an income, some months where I have multiple sources of income. I just highlight the days in green when I receive it because it is not a consistent date, and then below I write down whichever source I have received it from and the amount I have received it. The reason I do this is because as of now I do not have a consistent sort of income which comes on a specific day or a specific amount as such. So it keeps on changing. Sometimes I don't, like you can see in June I did not even have anything. So as a result of that, I need to keep a track of these things, so I don't end up in trouble with that later. I need to be aware of these things as such. So this is that spread, and it has been working great for me even though I didn't use my planner much for the last 2 months as such. Then comes the index. The index is where I track my daily pages in terms of the fact that I kind of journal and memory keep in the daily pages, and it becomes a lot when I just go through those daily pages and I can't figure out what I've written about since there is a lot written on some of the pages. So this is an index for those pages so that I can just easily find out certain things when it comes to, just easily flipping to that specific page and finding out. So this is like an index for me, as exactly as it is meant to be. So this is from Jan to June. I have been more or less consistent with it. Don't be confused about these blank spaces that you see in between. There are two possibilities for that. One is that I actually did not journal on that specific day, so that space is empty and there's nothing to write over here. And sometimes it is also because I did not find anything relevant enough to bring up over here, in the sense that I sometimes journal a lot randomly about my feelings or random things which I do not think needs to come in my index, and I feel that more relevant things like a certain event that I went to or something important that happened that day is more important in terms of appearing in the index as such. So that is why it is blank. It is not that the entire month of April I have not journaled at all in the daily pages. So yes, this is from Jan to June. I have not filled up July as of now. I had just started doing it, but then I thought I'd film this video. I tend to just fill up the index at the end of the month now. Earlier I used to do it randomly whenever I felt like it, but now more or less it is at the end of the month, either on the last day of the month or maybe as I enter into the next month. I just flip through the daily pages, run through it and fill this up, and that's about it. So I will be filling this up because I enjoy doing this year. I will know more about how effective this has been by next year when I turn back to this planner to look around for things. So that is that. Let's move on to the next spread now. Now the next spreads are the monthly spreads, of course. I think I removed my bookmark already. Yes, okay. So this is June. I always have a bookmark on this spread. Okay, so this is from the EC seasonal surprise boxes. I think you can still find it on the site. Nevertheless, I don't have bookmarks for all of my spreads, nor have I tabbed my cousin, as you can see. I just keep 3 bookmarks in the cousin. One is for the monthly, one is for the current weekly spread that I'm on, and one for the daily. And for the others, not really needed because I don't go to them on a daily basis. Now coming to the monthlies, this is a pre-planning section as well as an overview for me later of the month. So this is a very important spread for me. in the sense that this is where I turn to once I have completed a month, so that I can get an overview of the month and have an idea of the main highlights of that month as such. Now I'm glad to say that I've actually been consistent with the monthly spreads of June as well as July. A short recap of this would be the fact that I note down important events, anniversaries, my social media and such over here, and I also keep a track on updating info regarding all of these, and also if I've taken any trips or anything as such, all of them come over here. So even though it looks like there's a lot of decoration going on here, not really, it's largely functional for me. And if you want to know more about how I use this, you can always go and check out my video, which I will link below, which is called How I Use My Hobonichi Cousin for 2022, and you will know clearly how I go through this spread. So this has been going great for me in terms of June and July, and I'm glad I stayed true to this because this is what I need to really refer to. Even if I don't have the other spreads, this is really important for me. Now let's go ahead to the next thing, which is the to-do list or my weekly spreads. I'm pretty sure I've gone ahead to August, so let me just take June for you. Now, as far as the weekly spreads are concerned for June, this is how it began from here. As you can see, the bright black color is simply because I ended up using the medium side, which is the bigger side of the Erin Condren pen. I don't even remember why I did that. Maybe I wanted to finish the ink off that side. But yes, this spread, as you can see, it looks filled up. Let me clearly tell you, it was not a very fun week because I was inconsistent. You can see I have not tracked over here. Tracking has gone haywire right at the beginning. Most of my to-dos have not been done. Events were correct, of course, but the rest of it was a mess. So right at the beginning of June, I truly was not regular with my weekly spreads as such. Then again, I tried to make an effort for the next month. I lay down the spread. I tried to do things, but as you can see, again, tracking has not been going great. Some days I did, some days I did not track them. It's not that I did not actually do those things. For example, obviously I drank water on those 2 days. It is not that I didn't drink water for about a week. I did, but I did not track them. Here also, this is my sleep tracker, which as you can see, I have not used. And yes, to-dos have not been even written here and not going great again, as you can see. Then here I think I tried to come back a little over here. So here I have been more or less consistent with this week. I wouldn't say it's a great week, but at least I tried to come back. So things have been going well in terms of tracking, in terms of to-do lists. Not great, but good enough. Then we come to the last week, again going into disaster category, as you can see. But at the same time, I want to mention something over here. There is a reason I tried not to force myself to use the planner. The reason is simple. I was overworked in the months of June and July. I was too tired to do anything else after coming home. So if you have noticed my channel, I have not really uploaded videos as well. I think I put up one video and that's about it. It's not that I did it on purpose. I just could not. So you can see over here tracking. Some things yes, some things not. I completely ignored the me time section on purpose, okay, so that if I write it I would feel obliged to do it. So I just avoided the whole thing. And yes, I wouldn't say it was bad because see, as you can see, towards the weekend I started to get back to things. The events mentioned are important. I have gone to them or they have been held. I have told this before. The events here, it is not that I go to all these events. It is more of the fact that these are church related events and I need to have a record of them so that I can refer to it later, since I am part of a committee. And yes, that is why I write these down. So these at least I have been regular with. I'm so glad that I managed to write those things down. And here I try to get be a little more back into my planner. So I made an effort. My Bible reading, yes, I think I did not mention this earlier. I made a small change in my me time section somewhere around mid-June. Okay, earlier, as you see over here, my me time section included language learning and the book I'm currently reading. But somewhere around mid-June, I changed it into book reading and removed language learning. instead of language learning, I added my Bible reading back into my planner. Now, just to be clear, I used to read the Bible as if otherwise also. But the thing is, these Bible reading section was actually in a separate journal that I had, which I was not really consistent with. If you have seen my planner and journal updates, you would know about it, that I removed that journal completely from my system because it was not working out for me. And so what I did instead is that I transferred this again back to my planner. This was how I had it last year. So I decided to bring it back again because I feel that this works a lot more better for me. And yes, it does. I really like how it is going so far. Now, just to be clear, in terms of these chapters that you see from the Bible, I am reading the Bible based on its themes this year. So, of course, I've got this sort of thematic Bible reading online from, I think, Bible Study Tools. I'm not sure of the exact name now. And I've saved it online, so I just update it at the end of every weekend, because when I have it here, I find it easier to, refer to this and read that section from the Bible instead of going online every time to check it out. Now, this is something I've been enjoying doing and I'm regular with it, so that makes me happy. But at the same time, I'd just like to mention that this is not my regular Bible reading, in the sense that other than this, I also read as much as I want in a day, when I wake up in the morning and as well as at night before I go to sleep. That is not limited to this. That is a completely different section of my life which I focus on a lot, but I'm not going into that now. Let's come to the planning section. Planning this week, again, events, I have been consistent with writing it down. Habit tracking has been going well. To-dos, yes, I would say okay, not so great on some days, but at least I managed to do some things done, get some things done. Again, second week of July, it was a week where I did not use my planner very consistently. I used it. It is not that I did not touch it at all. I did use it, but not very consistent, as you can see. Now, I prefer this over forcing myself to use it. I understand I didn't use it this week, but at the same time, I also try to remember that I was very busy that week. I was so stressed out that week that I just could not do anything else. So this shows that I did some basic things. I did not do a lot of things, but I made a lot of effort. I know I have done other things which I have not even written down, but it's fine with me. So this is how it has been going, and as you can see, the last week of July I have not even touched it. So weekly spreads for Hobonichi Cousin was roughly not great as far as June and July were concerned. But it does not really break my heart, because I try to understand my own situation and be sympathetic with myself about it. So I'm fine with this, and this is not a spread that I would regret not having in my planner later. It is, after all, a list of to-dos and such. And one thing I'm grateful that I was consistent with was writing about the events regularly. There was nothing on Saturday, but as if otherwise, writing about the events regularly, because this is something I need for later as well. Now, coming to the daily spreads, again, I'm sure I have it on the wrong one, so let me open June for all of you. Daily spreads, if you do not know, I use them for journaling, for memory keeping and such. Here it is not much of planning actually. And let's begin with the dashboard. The dashboard for me is just for fun. Okay, I don't plan here. For me it is just for, quotes, anything fun that I read that I want to transfer here or to decorate as such. I've seen a lot of people ask on Facebook how to use the dashboard. See, I think it's your own decision how to go about it. I know people want functional methods of using the dashboard, but I'm fine with using it this way because for me the spread is connected to the daily pages, and as I don't plan in my daily pages, it just doesn't make sense to have the dashboard as a planning page for me. Of course, it might work out for others depending on their planning system. It just doesn't for me. Instead, what I do is when I go through these flip-throughs, I like to read what I've written on the dashboards. So here again you can see I had something fun. Never begin the day until it is finished on paper. I think it is quite connected to how we use our planner and journals. And then of course the second one that I have over here, if you don't design your life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan, and guess what they have planned for you? Not much. See, these are just some things that took my interest this month, and that's why I noted them down. Then as you go into the daily pages, you can see that some are blank, but there are stickers on the pages. There's a reason for that. I sticker the dailies of a month in the previous month. So I have probably done this in May, and I write around it because I feel there's enough space for me to write around it. So I'm not worried about not having enough space as such. And yes, there are some days I have written a little bit, and then I highlight, okay, whatever I feel is the main topic that I've journaled about, so that it stands out and I don't have to search through a whole lot of journaling about what is the topic. Often this is what comes up in my index as well. So a little bit of journaling here and there. As you can see, this is the month of June, in case I did not mention that. So obviously I have not used the entire page to journal, and many pages are blank, which I've noticed is actually a bothersome fact for many people. I think I'm kind of weird about all of this, that I'm not really heavily bothered by it. A little, yes, I won't say I'm not at all bothered, but not so much bothered that I would completely give up on my planner. I can see that I've not been consistent with it, but I can also see that I've tried to use it. I would admit one thing over here. Unlike the weekly pages, I regret the fact that I did not journal. The reason is simple, because when I journal, it's more of memory keeping, and I like to go back and read on those things, okay? And what happens is that when I don't have those memories here, it kind of disheartens me, because sometimes there will be valuable moments I really wish I had recorded by writing it down, but then after some time you forget which day it happened, what happened exactly, and that makes me a little sad that I did not write it down, that I was not regular with the daily pages as such. But let's move on to the month of July now. Here I had another quote. This is a washi tape, I think, from MT, which I have no idea what to do with, because it's very huge. It's extremely sticky that you can't remove it. It will tear your page off. But I have a huge roll of it. It's not new, it's actually quite an old one, but this is why I stopped buying washi tape, because see, it attracts you. You feel like buying these things when you see them online, but I don't really use them. So I think I have not bought any washi this year at all, or any stickers also, I think. So yeah, that makes me happy in a way. So yeah, that is that. Let's see what I've written. Time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is to say I don't want to. Oh, I'm sorry, I read it continuous. Time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is to say I don't want to. Yes, that's good. Me complaining that I have no social life, when in reality I love staying home and not talk to anyone several days in a row. This is extremely true about myself. I am an introvert. I don't like socializing with people. I'd rather stay at home any day than have to go out, okay? And I have not got the chance to do that in the past 2 months, and I'm waiting for just to get a break and stay at home. And today is a little bit that sort of day. That is why I'm filming this video right now. Now coming to the month of July, again the usual. I have stickered in advance, and then I have written around it, as you can see. So some press spreads I have used completely, some spreads I have not used at all, and some are halfway used. So July, I think, is more or less like June for me. I used it, I did not use it, but at least I tried to use my planner, so that makes me happy about that. Of course, I have not been very consistent, okay, but I did not give up on my planner, and that makes me happy. I am glad that I try not to jump from planner to planner just because I stopped using it for a few days. So this is the end of July, and then we go to August, and that is for another time. So I hope you enjoyed this flip through. There is one more spread at the back, which is my library as such. I have not used it. That is why I did not even come here. Okay, I have truly not used it. Oh yes, I'll show you June. So here you can see there was this book that I was supposed to read, but I think I just didn't get the book. That's why I've written unavailable. I was not able to get the book, so that book just got cancelled from my list. This one, Crying in Etchmart, I really liked the book. I would recommend reading it if you can. It is an autobiography, but it's a very small book. You can read it quickly, and it was really worth reading. This Let me tell you, I was supposed to read in June, but now that even July is at an end, I have not really read the book at all, at all. So I will start it now in August. Okay, so I will just correct this and start it now in August, and if it doesn't work out for me, we'll see how that turns out. But yes, this is my library section. But in case I was not clear about anything, feel free to check out my video how I use my Hobonichi Cousin, where I go in detail about how I use each and every spread in the cousin. So with that, we are at the end of this flip through. Now I hope to hear from you as well. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Bye. See you in the next video.